Namao Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaudavani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarane Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Goratviche Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jam Vishnupad Paramahansa Paribrajacharya Astotra Satta Sisiman. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Nama Acharya Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shyamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki jai. Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Navadvip Dham ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Tulsi Maharani ki jai. Yamuna Devi ki jai. Ganga Devi ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Gaur Premanande. All glories to the devotees of Cologne, Panama. All glories to the devotees of Cologne, Panama. All glories to the devotees of Cologne, Panama. All glories to Cologne Food for Life Sankirtan Distribution. Hari Hari Bol, Hari Hari Bol, Hari Hari Bol. I will now begin my explanation of the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. This version of Bhagavad Gita is being presented to you by the mercy of his ISKCON founder Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and he is my initiating and Shiksha Guru. He accepted me as his disciple in April of 1974 and then gave me my second or Brahminical initiation in September of 1975. And since then I have been trying to execute his order. The way to repay the debt one owes the spiritual master is to preach the science of Krishna, the message of Godhead. I will begin with my two favorite mantras. Trinadapi sunichena, tarad iva sahishnuna, amanina manadena, kirtaniya sadahari, harinama, harinam, harinama kevalam. Kalo nastyeva, nastyeva, nastyeva gatir anyata. Bhagavad Gita, the Song of God. Chapter 1, Observing the Armies on the Battlefield of Kuru-kshetra. I have taken this first chapter, as I have done the whole Bhagavad Gita, and broken it out into subsections. So the first section in chapter 1 is verses 1 through 6, which I entitle Assessment of Pandavas by Duryodhan. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjay, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kuru-kshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? Sanjaya said, O king, after looking over the army arranged in military formation by the sons of Pandu, King Duryodhana went to his teacher and spoke the following words. O my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, Drishtadyumna, the son of Drupada. For here in this army are many heroic bowmen, equal in fighting to Bhima and Arjuna, great fighters like Duryodhan, Virata, and Drupada. And there are also great heroic, powerful fighters like Drishtaketu, Chekitana, Kashiraj, Purujit, Kuntiboja, and Shaibya. And there is the mighty Yudamanyu, the very powerful Uttamauja, the son of Subhadra, Abhimanyu, and the sons of Draupadi. All these warriors are great chariot fighters. Now the next section, verses 7 through 13, is Duryodhan's assessment of the Kurus. But for your information, O best of the Brahmanas, let me tell you about the captains who are especially qualified to lead my military force. There are personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashvatthama, Vikarna, and the son of Somadatta, known as Bhurishrava, who are always victorious in battle. And there are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons, and all are experienced in military science. Our strength is immeasurable, and we are perfectly protected by Grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of the Pandavas, carefully protected by Bhima, is limited. Now, all of you must give full support to Grandfather Bhishma as you stand at your respective strategic points of entrance into the phalanx of the army. Sanjaya then said, Then Bhishma, the great valiant grandsire of the Kuru dynasty, the grandfather of all the fighters, blew his kanchal very loudly, making a sound like the roar of a lion, giving Duryodhana joy. And after that, the kanchals, drums, bugles, trumpets, and horns were all suddenly sounded, and the combined sound was tumultuous. The next section is verses 14 through 19. The Pandavas and Krishna blow their kanchals. Meanwhile, on the other side, both Lord Krishna and Arjuna, stationed on a great chariot drawn by white horses, sounded their transcendental kanchals. Lord Krishna blew his kanchal, called Panchajanya. Arjuna blew his, the Devadatta. And Bhima, the voracious eater and performer of Herculean tasks, blew his terrific kanchal called Poundra. King Yudhishthir, the son of Kunti, blew his kanchal, the Ananta Vijay, and Nakula and Sahadev blew the Sugosha and Manipushpaka. That great archer, the king of Kashi, the great fighter Shikandi, Drishtadumna Virata, the unconquerable Satyaki, Drupada, the sons of Draupadi, and the others, O king, such as Abhimanyu, the mighty armed son of Subhadra, all blew their respective kanchals. And the blowing of these different kanchals became uproarious, vibrating both in the sky and on the earth, and it shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra. So Srila Prabhupada, in commenting on this section, marks that when the Kurus blew their kanchals, it doesn't say that the hearts of the Pandavas were shattered. But it does say here, according to Sanjaya, who is speaking to Dhritarashtra away from the battlefield. Dhritarashtra is blind, he cannot see. But Sanjaya is his reporter. He's the on-field reporter. And as we learn in the end of this Bhagavad Gita that how was Sanjaya able to tell Dhritarashtra away from the battlefield? How could he possibly tell Dhritarashtra what was happening? Second by moment by, how could he do that? And that is because Sanjaya received special potency from his guru, Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva is Sanjaya's guru. And he gave him that transcendental mystic television in his heart. And so Sanjaya could see everything that was taking place. And he was relating it to Dhritarashtra as it was happening, because they're away from the battlefield. So Sanjaya, at the end of Bhagavad Gita, says that all this that I have explained is only because of the mercy of my spiritual master. And this is a very important point in coming to spiritual life, that the connection with the spiritual master is of utmost importance. This past Sunday, I gave a Zoom class for the devotees of the ISKCON temple in San Diego, California. And the whole lecture was about the importance of the guru. And one thing I will share with you. It is mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that although Krishna is in the heart, and we learn from Bhagavad Gita that in the heart Krishna gives knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. All this is due to Krishna in your heart. But the problem is, because we are covered by this gross body and material senses, virtually it is impossible to actually visualize the Supersoul, even though it is right there in the heart. It is very difficult. For yogis, it takes thousands of years. Maybe they will be able to visualize the Supersoul. So, how does Krishna help us? Yes, Krishna does not abandon us. The Supersoul, Krishna in the heart, appears externally as one's spiritual master. So when selecting a spiritual master, one has to keep in mind that such a person is supposed to be the representative of Krishna in the heart. So this is a very important point. The spiritual master represents Krishna in the heart. So now we will go to the next section. This next section is verses 20 through 26. Arjuna surveys the scene. At that time, Arjuna, the son of Pandu, seated on the chariot, bearing the flag marked with Hanuman, took up his bow and prepared to shoot his arrows. O king, after looking at your sons drawn in military array, Arjuna then spoke to Lord Krishna these words. So, Sanjaya is speaking to Dhritarashtra. So here's what he tells, that what Arjuna is now saying. O Achyuta, O infallible one. So just see how Arjuna addresses his friend Krishna. Infallible one, Achyuta. Please draw my chariot between the two armies, so that I may see those present here who desire to fight, and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms. So we must keep in mind that this scene, this chapter 1, is taking place on the beginning, the first day of the 18-day battle of Kuru-kshetra. This is the beginning point. The first day of the battle is when this chapter 1 takes place. Let me see those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra. Yes, Dhritarashtra, son, he had 100 sons, but the number one son, Duryodhan, he was so crooked, so evil. In the Mahabharata, it is described that when Duryodhan appeared, the first son appeared from the 100 pots, there were many omens, very bad omens, indicating that this was a very, very bad child, evil. And Vidura, Dhritarashtra's brother, he gave advice to Dhritarashtra. This son you should abandon immediately, because he will be the cause of the destruction of your whole family. And up to this point, today, this setting the scene, the battle of Kuru-kshetra, so many times Dhritarashtra was advised, you should stop, you should not favor Duryodhan, you should not be lenient with him, you should chastise him, you should correct him, you should stop him. So many times Dhritarashtra was warned by Bhishma, by Vidura, by so many people. But because of Dhritarashtra's attachment, he could not do anything. He felt himself helpless. All because of attachment. So that is a major lesson in Bhagavad Gita. We should not be attached to things that prevent us from doing the right thing. If something prevents us from doing the right thing, and it's because of attachment, it must be given up. In the teachings of Srila Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya, we learn that what is favorable for Krishna consciousness should be accepted, no matter what. If it's favorable for Krishna consciousness, the devotee should accept it. And if it's unfavorable, it should be rejected. That's a good rule of thumb for your lives. If something is good that will enhance my Krishna consciousness, I should accept it. And if something is detrimental or an impediment, it should be rejected. Sanjaya now speaks. O descendant of Bharat, O Dhritarashtra, having thus been addressed by Arjuna, Lord Krishna drew up the fine chariot in the midst of the armies of both parties. In the presence of Bhishma, Drona, and all the other chieftains of the world, Lord Krishna said, just behold, Partha, all the Kurus assembled here. So when I read this section, immediately in my heart, I am feeling how nice Krishna is. Krishna is supreme. Krishna is the God of all other gods, and yet he has agreed to be the charioteer of his devotee. This makes me so much appreciative of Krishna. There are so many conceptions of God in this world. But here, just see how nice is Krishna, that he has agreed to be the chauffeur of Arjuna, the Uber driver of Arjuna. That's God. That's Krishna. He's so nice with his devotees. So this makes me appreciate Krishna so much. In the same way, Uddhava, after the battle of Kuru-kshetra, Vidura met up with Uddhava and inquired from him many things. And at one point, Uddhava said to Vidura, "How can I worship anyone other than Krishna?" Because just look, Putana, demon, the witch, the Kechari witch, she approached Krishna with the intention of killing him by putting poison on the nipple of her breast. And yet, although Krishna had to kill her, still Krishna benedicted Putana and gave her a place in his spiritual kingdom where she gets to relate to Krishna as if she is one of his mothers. So Uddhava told Vidura, when I think about this, how could I possibly worship anyone else? Nobody compares to Krishna. He is the best. There, Arjuna could see, within the midst of the armies of both parties, his fathers, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, and also his father-in-law and well-wishers. So this next section, verses 27 through 38, I've entitled Arjuna's Reasons Not to Fight, Part 1. There are two sections where Arjuna is giving good reasons, justifiable, moral reasons why he does not want to fight. So this section is part 1. When the son of Kunti, Arjuna, saw all these different grades of friends and relatives, he became overwhelmed with compassion and thus spoke. My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. My whole body is trembling. My hair is standing on end. My bow Gandiva is slipping from my hand, and my skin is burning. Now I am unable to stand here any longer. I am forgetting myself, and my mind is reeling. For I see only causes of misfortune, O Keshava, killer of the Keshi demon. I am very attached to this name Keshava. We learn from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nam Namakari Bahuda Nijasarva Shakti, that Krishna has millions and millions of names. These names signify his qualities, but mostly it signifies his relations with his devotees. So this word Keshava has 3 meanings. Here is the general meaning. Most people understand Keshava means the killer of the Keshi demon, the horse demon. One of the last demons that Kamsa sent to kill Krishna in Vrindavan. And then Kamsa sent Akrura to bring Krishna and Balaram to Mathura. And Kamsa's plan, and he even told Akrura, my plan is you bring these 2 boys and I will kill them. He was very straightforward. So one of the final demons was the horse demon. And of course, Krishna is undefeated. So he killed the horse demon or Keshi demon simply by putting his arm in the mouth of Keshi, and then his hand expanded and Keshi's mouth was choked and burned because Krishna's arm and fist to Keshi felt like a hot iron rod, and Keshi dropped down dead. Then there's a second meaning of Keshava. It means that Krishna has bluish, blackish hair, and it is very fine. That's another meaning of this Keshava. We learn from the Dhammadarashtakam prayers that Krishna's hair has a bluish tint, blackish, but with a bluish tint. And also, there's some red in there. But because his hair is very, very fine hair, then his name is Keshava. And then the third meaning of Keshava is that Ka Isha. Ka means Lord Brahma, the creator, and Isha means Lord Shiva, the destroyer. So Keshava means that Krishna controls even Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. For one of the things that we will learn from this Bhagavad Gita, if we go through it properly, one of the things that we will learn more than once, no one is equal to Krishna, no one is superior to Krishna. That is a fundamental tenet of Bhagavad Gita. Now, Arjuna continues. I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kinsmen in this battle. Nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness. O Govinda, of what avail to us are a kingdom, happiness, or even life itself, when all those for whom we may desire them are now arrayed on this battlefield? O Madhusudana, that's another name for Krishna. At the dawn of creation, Brahma was attacked by two demons, Madhu and Kaitaba. And so Krishna appeared as Hayagriva, the golden form of Krishna with the head of a horse. Hayagriva, grieve meaning neck, horse-headed. And this golden form killed those two demons, Madhu and Kaitaba. Madhusudana, the enemy of the demon Madhu. O Madhusudana, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, fathers-in-law, grandsons, brothers-in-law, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them, even though they might otherwise kill me? O Janardana, maintainer of all living entities, I am not prepared to fight with them, even in exchange for the three worlds, let alone this earth. For what pleasure will we derive from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? Sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. And what should we gain, O Madhava, husband of the goddess of fortune? And how could we be happy by killing our own kinsmen? O Janardhan, although these men, their hearts overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one's family or quarreling with friends, why should we, who can see the crime in destroying a family, engage in these acts of sin? So that is one angle of vision, how Arjuna is presenting to Krishna that he is not inclined to fight this war. He's been attacking, he has been presenting that based on morality, based on good behavior, and also based on the idea that nobody does something unless there's some profit for somebody. You don't do something unless you gain something. Arjuna is thinking, what will we gain? Even if we do, what will we gain? So that's Arjuna's first angle of vision. Morality, religiousness, and also what's in it. Now in the final section, Arjuna will present his argument from yet a different angle of vision. So Arjuna is still speaking. O Krishna, with the destruction of dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligion. And when irreligion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the women of the family become polluted. And from the degradation of womanhood, O Varshneya, descendant of Vrishni, comes unwanted progeny. And an increase of unwanted population certainly causes hellish life, both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. The ancestors of such corrupt families fall down because the performances for offering them food and water are entirely stopped. And by the evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition and thus give rise to unwanted children, all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated. O Janardhan, maintainer of the people, I have heard by disciplic succession that those who destroy family traditions dwell always in hell. Alas, how strange it is that we are preparing to commit greatly sinful acts, driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness, and we are intent on killing our own kinsmen. Better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra, weapons in hand, were to kill me unarmed and unresisting on the battlefield. Sanjaya said, Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief. So that's how chapter 1 ends. Before we go to the discussion part, I would like to sing the Nrsimha prayers for the protection of all the devotees of Cologne, for your protection. Namaste Nara Singhaya, Namaste Nara Singhaya, Prahlada Klada Dayane, Hiranya Kashipura Vakshaha, Shilatanga Nakalaye, Ito Nrsimha Panato Nrsimha, Yato Yato Yamitato Nrsimha, Bahi Nrsimha Hridaye Nrsimha, Nrsimham Adim Sharanam Prapadye, Nrsimham Adim Sharanam Prapadye, Nrsimham Adim Sharanam Prapadye, Tavakara Kamala Hare Nakam Adbhuta Sringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringmam Keshava Dvita Narahadi Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Keshava Dvita Narahadi Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadish Jaya Jagadish Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Here is my commercial. So if you can, this is my commercial. And now I will turn over the program